And I, for one, am pretty happy with that. Hey y'all, APG Jamie here. And I'm very happy that you are here too. And today we're going to be making a journal cover from this vinyl fabricy stuff that my friend Vaughn sent to me. Very interesting. I thought we'd make a cover. Oh, and we're going to use those mono jelly prints that we did, I don't know, few weeks ago back. I don't know. And so, yeah, I have used vinyl to make a journal before. We used that Biggs die, and it was a small, basically a purse size traveler's notebook style. This is a traveler's notebook style, a dory style even, you know, where you have the elastic band and stuff. Yeah. So I've trimmed my paper. This is cardstock, American size 8.5 by 11, and trimmed down for my height of the journal. And the one page I left at 8.5, at 11. And the other one I trimmed to whatever size I trimmed it to, because it's going to be, you know, a trifold, sort of. A trifold. And it fits on there pretty good. The vinyl's not quite 100% squared up, but that's all right. You know, it's hey, nothing in life is perfect. It's just perfect for what goes on around and during that time, okay? And what you hold it in perspective of. Yeah, how you see it. So I'm just going to use some washi tape to hold my cardstock down. Probably would have been better if I'd have used some of the big paper clips, but no! I thought we'd use some washi tape on it. It's okay. It works out in the end. It's just when you're actually sewing, because we're going to sew it on the sewing machine. It would have been easier to remove paper clips than the washi tape when we're sewing around it. So I will link to that jelly printing session in the description below the video, where you will find a list of ingredients. Okay. And hopefully, if I remember, I'll put it in the upper right hand corner as well. A link to that prior video. So here we are. We got our sewing machine all set up and gonna do some sewing. And I think we got an okay angle. You know, it's kind of hard to get angles for using a sewing machine. I don't know. I know people do it all the time, but you know, it's kind of hard for me. Lots of things are hard for me. It's like every time I make a journal, it's the first time I ever made a journal. What's up with that? So we're sewing along. We're just using straight stitch, and I'm doing pretty good. You will see me stop off and on to remove some washi tape or whatever, because, you know, I've got my vinyl facing up, and it's kind of thickish. I don't know how thick is it. I don't know. It's thickish. Thicker than the other vinyl we used before. I know what this reminds me of. Oh my goodness. It's going to date me, y'all, from the 1900s. Some of y'all remember back in the day of washable nappies, you know, diapers that you would wash from your baby's use. You remember those pads they had in the 70s and 80s that you know, changing pads, you would slide them underneath your little baby's backside when you changed their diapers to help keep bedding and couches and whatever from getting soiled. It kind of reminds me of that. Not totally, okay, but kind of. So you get the gist of it. It's kind of soft. It's it doesn't hold, I mean, if you hold it in the air, it would flop over. That's why I'm using cardstock on the back side. When I made the vinyl before, I actually glued the cardstock to the back of the vinyl. It was a way thinner piece of vinyl. And this time I thought we would sew it, because that's what I thought we would try. I think we'll make more of these. And we're just sewing around. And yes, the video is sped up. I believe all of it is sped up. Not hyperdrive, but you know, faster-ish. And that's it for the sewing machine. Now we're back to the desk, and we're going to remove some of this other washi that we kind of held things in place. I'm pretty pleased with the way it's sewed up. But like I said, I would use paper clips. I didn't want to use paper clips because I thought it would distort it too much, and certainly didn't want to use any straight pins because, you know, it was really too thickish for that. And yeah, kind of the top part of the screen's cut off, but you know, so it goes. And here we're getting some faux measurements. I mean, yeah, it's not real measuring. I mean, I'm just kind of eyeballing faux measuring. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, kind of. So I'm going to have to trim my paper because of the way I sewed that. Because now that's a pocket. That extra piece we sewed on there, I punched it when you weren't looking, when I didn't record, with that notch punch thingy in a pocket. And we're trimming our, this is copyweight paper. We're trimming it down to size for the signatures. And don't worry, we will use those scraps. You will be delighted. Well, I'm delighted anyway, so you know, I'm sure you will be as well. And what are my measurements? It doesn't really matter on account of if you have this stuff, you would use whatever measurements you get into whatever style of journal you're going to make with it. You could even cut this off and use it just on the cover. Don't have to be a front and a back all around. It could just be on the front or just on the back. You know what? Get me to talking. You know how it makes those wheels in your cabeza spin. You could use this for just a spine. That's an interesting thought right there. So we're going to use that notch punch because I like the notches, y'all. Instead of a, you know, the circle thumb notch pull. And we're going to take, this is cardstock now. We're working with cardstock because they had some cardstock as well. We're going to turn one or two of these, I think. I don't know, you might only get to see one. We're going to turn it into like a folder, you know, where you have the tabs on there. Oh, that might not, well, I don't know what that was. It was paper, y'all. Y'all, after a while, they all look alike, don't they? So we're trimming this up. I think this is going to be the folder, you know, with the tabs. Pretty sure about that. Oh, yeah, because I got the cutting mat out. Cutting mat. Because you got to do some fancy cutting. That other one might have been a folder, too. I don't know. It's a surprise, y'all. I know it annoys me as well that the top of the video is cut off like that, and I seem to keep wanting to work up high. So I don't know how my camera, I truly don't. I don't bump it. It's not like I bump it. So how does it get adjusted? Oh, maybe it secretly moves when we're not looking. Notches. That other one's probably folder too. Erase the little pencil line. It was just to mostly get it centered. That's the part I'm cutting away, and that's the part I'm cutting away. But you will see, it will look like I'm confused. Yeah, kind of a natural state. Getting out the craft knife. We're just going to cut that straight down. I know it's cockeyed on the screen, but it was straight enough. Here we go. And I'm like, that's the one I want to cut off. And I'm going to fold it up. And I'm like, no, that's the one I want to keep. I want to keep that one. I want to cut No, don't do it like that. That's the one you want to cut away. The first one you marked with an X. Y'all, sometimes it's hard to think of stuff. I guess if I made a road map and wrote it all out, yeah, mine would be more butter, but no. Yeah. And we're getting a rounder, and we're going to round these corners some. Going to round them up. And at some point after, we didn't get to quite the signature parts. We were just trimming them down to rough size, because they will get trimmed again. That's our inside pages. That's going to be the folio. We're just going to fold them all in half. I didn't do any additional anything to the mono printed paper, so whoever ends up with this can do whatever they want to do with it. Okay, they can take these pages out and use them in something else, or throw them away, or whatever it is they're gonna want to do with them. So there we go. I've got some of the copy weight paper in there, and then I've got my folder in there, and this is where I decided I need to trim them off a little bit, and I will do that on my big old cutter over there behind me. I didn't film that part because we're just trimming them up. There, see, they all trimmed up. And I've already put eyelets in the cover. I know, filming issues, y'all, it's a real thing for me. And I used this thick elastic band. In my mind, it was going to be just fine. But I don't like it, so I take it out. Y'all will get to see me take it out at some point. Maybe that's what we're fixing to do here. Yeah, it is. So I got these knots in there. And it's best not to tighten your knots until you're sure. I mean, like really, really sure. Because I'm going to try to get it out of there, and yeah, it's not working very well. It tied in a good knot, though, I just tell you. So get them scissors out. And I'm putting the closure. It's just going to be a band closure coming out of the middle of the spine side. If you should happen to hear that clickety-clackety sound, that is Champ scratching on the back door. I did my best to get him to come in before I started the voiceover, but no, he wants to play hard grown-up dog. He can't open the door himself. Anyways, this is a little bit of a thinner elastic band than what I would prefer. This one's from the Dollar Tree. I need to look online and see if I can find some thicker, because it would be better. This is fine for little tiny, half this size journals, but this size journal needs a bit of a heavier. I'm going to have to go get him. Okay, he's in. No more scratchity on the door. I forgot what I was saying. I was probably talking about the elastic band. Okay, now I know you're looking at, you're like, that's just going to fall out of there. Yes, it will. But we are going to address that when we put our other elastic band around there. And whoever ends up with this can do whatever they want to do. Actually, you could sew it, because it's got the eyelets in there. You could sew it like a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Just saying, So we put our tail of the elastic through the center, which we'll end up pulling out. And then we put it through the fastener on the outside. See, threading it through. And we're going to end up doing that on the inside, because I pulled it out. And I'm like, oh, wait, yeah. That way, that part will not come out. Okay? Well, it will if you want it to. Just, cut the elastic. Whoever ends up with it. My plan, okay, is to send this off to Disabled Artist Foundation. And I think I will probably have that information in the description box below. I don't know when they will auction it off, give it away, whatever they want to do. Because once I pop it in the mail, it's not my problem anymore. Not that it's a problem, but you know what I'm saying. So we round the corners and we're using scissors because I didn't even try the corner rounder because I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. So yeah. And let's see, what are we doing here? Oh, I think I'm just trimming up some of the cardstock and maybe some of the paper because I thought we would maybe make some tags, but I ended up not doing that. But, you know, the scraps come with the journal, or at least when I send it off, they're with the journal. And, you know, they can do whatever they want to with it because it won't be mine anymore. And maybe we're making a folder here. I don't know what I'm doing. Cutting, trimming off some edges. We do make a tinier notebook, well, a little memo pad of sorts. And we will make a dingly dangly. And I think G Kerr pronounced says it like that. Dangly, dangly, ding. I don't know. We'll make a dangle. I'm holding it up there. Will that fit? Yeah, sure, that'll fit. Okay, yeah, perfect. So here's the scraps from the papers that we trimmed off for the signatures. And most of them were the same width. Not necessarily all of them, just a lot of them. And that's a piece of cardstock. We're going to use that for the cover of our little memo-y type book. It's tiny, y'all. Hey, my friend Tanya McGuire, okay, you might know. If not, you should check her out. Anyway, she has made from little scraps these little scratch pad, notepad, doolallers, and I thought, well, if Tanya can do it, so can I. So we're rounding the corners, and we round all the corners on all the little papers. I don't know that I waste your time showing you all of them, maybe just some of them. And at some point there will be some inking if we haven't already done it. I don't know, could have already done it, but I think some's coming up. And because that's going to be the cover on this little tiny skinny notepad, I decided to go over it with some gel medium. This is, you know, it's gel medium. And I think it has to be gloss. It's from Jerry's daughter, Roman. Not that that matters, but I'm just telling you that's where it's from. And I went and fished out some buttons. I don't know. I went through the buttons and I want it to look like there's thread in there, so I'm going to actually put some thread in the buttons. I got lucky. Each one of these buttons has the same number of holes on there, so they're all going to be pretty similar. And I just went with basically coordinating colors as best as I could do, because, you know, that's what you do when you have a hodgepodge of buttons. And I tied my knot in there, and I'm running it through. And when I bring my needle back through the other side, I will slip it through the loop because it's a double thread. And I will do all of them the same way. And I will put a nice pretty little X in all of these buttons. And I started using a thimble way back in my quilting days. And it's hard for me to do anything with a needle and thread without using a thimble anymore. Okay, and that is my favorite kind of thimble. It is plastic, and it slips on your finger, and it has room for your fingernails to come out of the top, I guess. I'm a utilitarian person, so I seldom ever have long fingernails. I wouldn't say never, just seldom. And every once in a while you get a little knot and twist it up and stuff, and you just kind of got to take your time and work it back out. It'll be all right. And put it, just, I don't know how many times I put it on there, in there, you know, trim it off, make another knot, go to the next one. I don't show you all of them. I don't even think I show you all this second one. And we're just going to do that, and I got it all twisted up already, and so we're going to untwist it. Story of my life, twisted sister. Ooh, I probably am the twisted sister. Anyway, y'all. I think that was a band, a group or something. I don't know. So now we're going to take some more of that gel and butter the back side of the button. And I'm using my finger to kind of measure away from the little fold and deciding which button is the bigger one because I want it next, because we're going bigger, next bigger, and then the smaller. However you want to say it. And some of the gel does squish up, but it's okay because it dries clear, and it's okay, y'all. It is okay. This will go with the journal too. Well, I mean, I'll send it that way. I don't know. It'll end up however it ends up. So I dried that overnight, and now we're going to make the little dangly. And I just have some desk scraps. That's a little piece of fabric, a heat embossed cardstock key, and going to make a thinner tag thing to go on here. I was just going to layer up, y'all. Let's use the notch because we like it and it's our newest toy and we want to use it. So there we go. And I'm like, yeah, let's trim that off. Yep. We're going to notch that, even though that one comes out pretty cockeyed, but that's okay. It's perfect. And I thought, well, I want to cut these corners. So I'm looking for my little corner lopper. It's a Fiskars, and it just cuts the corners off. And I thought, oh, that's awful. That's an awful big notch. So we're just going to hand trim it. Take the piece we trimmed off and flip it over there so that they look sort of alike. Still sort of, y'all. And this one I'm like, oh, I'm brave. I'll do it. Oh, that was not, that was not so good, but that's okay. It's perfect now. You just have to take my word for it. And I'm looking for something. Oh, this we're going to ink with some scorched timber. Oh, too is one of my favorites. Oh, goodness. It's a distressed ink. So if it gets wet, it will move around on you. Okay. Typically, I like using archival because it don't move once it gets wet. And by wet, I don't necessarily mean just water. Glue can make it move. Matte medium can make it move. Gel medium can make it move. Or when I say matte medium, I mean fluid matte medium. You know, if it gets wet by any means. Okay, if you put spit on it, I bet it would move. Just saying. So we're going to layer these up, and I thought, yeah, we'll put the key on there. It'll be all cute, little dangly. And I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I guess we're going to start layering up. And I'm like, yeah, the print didn't look correct in that direction, so that's why I flipped it over. And I'm like, yeah, let's just glue it. Let's just stick it on there because that's where it's going to live. Let's just go ahead and glue that key on there. See, it was black cardstock. It was from scraps too, I'm sure. Pretty sure. So there we go. Now the key's not going to dangle. It's glued on there forever. And we got out these little Tim Holtz things. Like I said, there's a list of ingredients in the description below. And I'm just basically picking out some stuff that I'm like, yeah, I like that. And the butterfly you're not going to be able to see later. But that's okay. It kind of peeks out. So you can kind of see it. I'm like, yeah, I'm liking that. Yep. Okay, that's enough. Yep, that's enough. And we're going to, oh, I wanted a number, so I found a number. Desk scraps, I'm telling you. When you make mini moo cards for Mini Moo Card Monday, you end up with a lot of little teeny desk scraps. You're like, everything is precious. It's all precious. So we're inking around, scorched timber. Man, what an awesome color. I hope they put that in an archival ink pad because I would really like that, Timmy, because he so watches me. Yeah. And I got the butterfly up a little too high, but that's okay. We won't tell anybody. It'll be perfect when it's done. You'll be like, oh, that's perfect. Putting that down there, kind of twisted, you know, again with the twisted sister. Evidently, it's a common theme today. We're going to pick up the butterfly a little bit and shove that one up underneath there just a little bit. It too is twisted sister. Okay. I'm like, yeah, that's good. Let's put the number on this part. Okay. Put some glue on it. Number 2. Why number 2? Because that was the first number I came across. I'm like, yeah, I like that number. It works. It looks like it'll fit. It fits. It does too. So I got out my little teeny hole punch. I think it's like 1/8 of an inch or 1/16. I don't know what it is. It's teeny, y'all. And then I thought, oh, I'm looking for it. I have a piece of ball chain I wanted to put in there. And I thought, well, that might not be it might be too flimsy. So let's get an eyelet, which means we need to make a bigger hole. Not the biggest hole on the crocodile, just a bigger hole. And I got an eyelet, and I thought purple, because that was our main colors. And I'm like, no, I don't like how that looked. So I went and got a white one. And I'm like, yeah, that's more butter. And we're just going to smash it. And I'm almost positive that I get the hammer and I have to bam on it. And when my husband was doing the physical therapy for his arm, after his procedure, you know how his arm kind of got jacked up. Anyway, we were there and they did the strength test. And I'm like, I want to do it too, because I'm like a little kid, so I wanted to do it too. I barely could squeeze 20 pounds of pressure, y'all. And it was sad, because the physical therapist kind of giggled. And my husband was like, what? I'm like, well, whatever, people. I got hand and arm issues. That's the side that's got the, my right hand has got the trigger finger going on with the bird. Y'all know that. I really need to see a doctor about that, I guess, because it can be kind of hurty. So we're going to make an envelope out of this other piece of copy weight paper. This was the one we used to clean up around the edges when we were monoprinting. And it's kind of hard to see that little score mark. So that's why I had to, redo it so I could see it and fold it. Now we're just going to fold it up. And we're going to round the corners using that rounder instead of the one that comes on the envelope punch board, which I like the envelope punch board. Just saying. We are memory keepers. I don't know if I put that in the list, but now you know it's there. So, and I think maybe I used all the papers, all the cardstocks. I don't know, maybe not. Now I'm thinking in my head, it seems like there's another piece sitting there. And I thought, well, I like it going the other way. I think that looks fun. Looks fun to me. How's it looking there? Looks like it's going to fit like a glove. And so we're going to glue it. I put a line of glue there. Put a line of glue mostly there and here and there. And now it's an envelope, or envelope, depending on how you pronounce it. And I'm just sticking that in there to help make sure I didn't accidentally overspill the glue. Oh, flip-flop time, y'all. Flip-flop time. I'll put a big eyelet there on the front. That's where our dangly-dangly's going. Trying to show you the different sides. I found an old paper clip that I thought would work in here. So here's our front edge. See, there's our little dangly. It's cute, y'all. This is a pencil holder. Made these a long time ago. And it's just on one of them teeny binder clips. Okay. And then there's our little memo notepad thingy. It doesn't actually fit in the journal, not really, but that's okay. It's going with it. I'm attaching it, whatever the file wants to do. See, cute. Hope I remember to sign that thing. Anyway, flipping it open. See, we got a little folder thing there at the front, and here's our envelope, and it's got the little leftover scrappy bits in there. Okay. It's now here's some papers. Bigger piece of cardstock wouldn't fit in the envelope or the pocket. Put a pocket. But that's the hidden paper clip. It's cute. I already said it. There's our little papers and looking good. And here's the pocket. And there's one of my playing cards. It's so funny. It's so funny. Anyway, so get it all in screen. Get it in screen, sorta. Ta-da! Photo montage. How y'all like that vibrato? Anyway, I am pretty pleased with it. It is essentially, basically a naked journal, meaning it's a journal cover with papers in it. Okay? I put the scraps in there, and whoever ends up with it can do whatever it is they want to do. I appreciate each and every one of you. Your kind comments, your thumbs up, your likes even. Oh, and shares, because I love it when y'all share. I don't know how to tell who shares what, but I love it when you do it anyway. Oh, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed, because I really appreciate that. YouTube appreciates that. Okay. Isn't that a cute hidden paper clip? Thanks for watching, and happy